morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well this morning. Oh my goodness, man. It's a beautiful Monday. And I hope that you're prepared to get out and get going. Good morning, Moria. How are you? Man, it's our time to get ready to shine and make things happen. So let's put ourselves in position in order to succeed. And in order for us to get into position, you and I, we must have the right mindset to do so. And that's why we come together on Monday to get ourselves together, get prepared so that we can go out and accomplish everything we need to accomplish this week. So at the end of the week, we can look ourselves in the mirror and say we've done all that we can to get closer to fulfilling our dreams. And so this morning we gathered together as the Thrive Tribe, and we've come together to thrive. That Kastawe word is a Swahili word which means to thrive, to flourish. And my brothers and sisters, today we're talking about momentum. That's right, momentum. And so we need for you to go ahead and share this so that other people can hear what's going on today. Perhaps at some point during the day, they'll look at your timeline and be able to say, listen, I got to get that momentum. I've got to get that momentum going, so that I can be in motion, so I can be moving towards what I need to be moving towards. And so today, that's what our topic is. Good morning. How are you? So good to see you on this morning. Good morning. We're talking about this morning momentum, being able to get into motion. And one of the things that sometimes when you're watching a sporting event and you can tell when one of the teams get momentum, I mean, they get the energy. For example, if you're watching basketball, a shot goes in at a critical time and it seems like the momentum, the energy flows over to that particular team, and that team is riding that momentum because they are moving in the direction of victory, and so they continue to press forward in that particular fashion. They play harder, the defense gets more intense, the crowd gets into the game because the momentum has shifted. And when momentum shifts, then the team knows, listen, we are positioning ourselves, we're about to win this game, and as a result, we're going to move that momentum for our benefit. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Momentum. Good morning. How are you? Momentum. We're going to be moving in the direction of our goals. We've got to get moving. Get up, get moving. I hope you've already spring forward in your time, because if not, my goodness, I'm telling you, can you believe it? We've already gotten to the point where it's time for us to move together in the hour to move forward, to spring forward 1 hour. And my brothers and sisters, time is moving. So here's the thing you have to understand about momentum as it relates to your life. Time is going to move with or without you. You either can find yourself in the same place, or you can say that this time next year, I have started movement into momentum and I'm going to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And so that's what you and I have to be positioning ourselves to do, that we don't let time move without us. Hear me when I say that. That's good stuff. Don't let time move without you. You want to be moving with time, right? And so as time is moving, so I am moving, so that when I get to this time again in the next year, that I have already moved ahead. So don't let time move without you. You have to be on the move. We got to be on the move. This is the season. Even though some of us are shut down and shut out, we still have to be on the move, to be developing, to be creating, so that you and I can be in position to grab everything that is within our reach, because you and I have decided that we're going to be put in motion. So let's look at this word momentum on this morning. Momentum can be defined as a mass. Here it is, in motion. All objects that have mass, here it is. So if an object is moving, then it has momentum. Listen, all objects have mass, But in order for the object to be, it have momentum, it's got to have some velocity, it's got to be moving, and then therefore it has momentum. So momentum is a physics term, but we're going to be using it in a life context where we're talking about life's momentum, where you and I, who are the mass, the object, we have to be putting ourselves in motion so that we can accomplish what we need to accomplish in life. And as a result, my brothers and sisters, you and I are in a time and in a season where our mass, our bodies, our minds, our ideas have to be put into motion so that we can begin to produce these ideas. But those ideas don't happen without you and I developing some type of momentum, some type of movement towards it becoming actualized. The question that we've got to ask ourselves on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, when we get together on Monday is, am I in a state of momentum, or I'm in a state of stagnation? I'm either in a state of momentum or a state of stagnation. And so you and I, we've got to decide that I don't want to be stuck in the state of stagnation, but I have to be putting myself in position to be moving towards the reality of the things that I want to accomplish in my life. And so I'm building momentum. I'm building momentum because I'm moving in that direction. I don't care if it's just writing down the first paragraph of your book. You're now building momentum. You're taking the mass, your idea of this book, and now you're putting it into motion, right? And you're pulling people around it in order to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And so, my brothers and sisters, momentum is key, because once you start that momentum, it begins to get contagious in the idea of the fact that I have to do it. You want to do it every day, and other people want to be a part of the momentum that you've developed as you are beginning to move towards that particular reality. So when we decide that it's time for us to move, we'll get moving. And so this morning, I want to encourage you. Let's get that momentum going. Let's put the mass into motion so that we can get going. For example, let me use this as an example. Our bodies, right? Your body language, right? How you hold your body. How many people know if you're sad, you hold your body like this, and your tone of your voice might be like this. And as a result of your body language, you have a physical thing that's happening in your body based upon the way you're carrying it, right? So when you carry your body, it's affecting how you communicate, how you do what you do, and you want your body language to be able to represent what you desire in life. In other words, let me put it to you like this. What we've learned, according to research, is 7% of words is how we communicate. 38% is tone of voice, but 55% of how we communicate is body language. The obvious challenge is to make sure our body language is telling the same story of our hopes and our desires. Hear me when I say this, that our body language is telling the same story of our hopes and our desires. So the way you carry yourself, how you hold your head up high, how you use the tone of your voice, how you do those things, you're putting yourself in the mindset of achieving what you need to achieve. That's why I would recommend in the morning you do some type of physical activity to get the juices in your mind going, to tell your body it's time for us to wake up, to get going, to get moving, so that we can make impact in our particular day. In our day, we're going to make impact. And so, my brothers and sisters, this morning, you and I must be able to position our bodies to wake these bodies up, right? Wake the body up saying, listen, it's time for us to go to work. It's time for us to make some things happen. It's time for us to continue to accomplish our dreams. And so we want to make sure that our bodies are prepared to carry the dream that we have. Hey, that's a good question right there. What is my body language saying? That's a good question right there. You want to be able to get it to say, I'm going to succeed. What story is it telling as you walk in the room? And what story is your body telling you when you wake up in the morning? You got to just jump up get started, get moving, get pumped up so that you can enter your day with the idea that I can't stop the momentum that I've created on these past few days or few weeks, that I have to continue to go forward. Can't stop, won't stop. That's the way you got to be. Can't stop, won't stop. I might take a rest. I might be able to take a Sabbath, but I'm not stopping moving towards what I need to move towards, because I understand the power of momentum. Because momentum is mass in motion. And some of us have ideas that are sitting stagnant. It's time for us to get moving, to develop that momentum. Some of us have some things that we've been sitting on for a long time. It's time to stop sitting on it and put it to work and get the momentum started so you can accomplish what you need to accomplish. And as a result, my brothers and sisters, you and I one day will look back at that moment and say, you know what? I'm so glad I started. Who am I talking to? How many of us knows what it is to get to the place where you've accomplished your goal and your dream, and you look at the moment and you look back at the day you started and you say, I'm so glad I started. I'm so glad I got moving. I'm so glad I put things in motion. I'm so glad that I decided that it's time for me to get things out there and get moving towards the goals and the dreams and the things that I've had upon my mind for so long. Build the momentum by moving. Hear me when I say this. Build your momentum by beginning to move towards your hope and your dream. That's right. Let's go. Let's move towards it so that we can accomplish our goals and our dreams. Man, that's what this whole thing is about. That's why we gather together in the Thrive Tribe. We do that so that we can get jump started in our week, so we can be productive. So we can decide that in this week, I'm not going to compromise the time that I'm given. I'm going to use that time to accomplish everything that I need to accomplish in life. So you and I, we got to decide, no more am I playing. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore. Where are my people this morning in the Thrive Tribe? You've made up in your mind, I am not playing. I'm putting in the work and I'm going to go after it. Laugh if you want to. Talk if you want to, but I'm going to keep moving towards that reality so that I can accomplish the goals and dreams that I have upon my heart that God has placed there. And when we start to move, man, God starts to move as well. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But you got to begin to take those steps, and you got to begin to start that movement. You've got to say, you know what? I am not going to just sit and let life pass me by, but I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to go after it. And people will say, hey, that's the legacy that he leaves or she leaves. It's the legacy of moving towards it and building that momentum to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Maintaining momentum in life is imperative. To maintain momentum in life is imperative to maintain motion. All right. So if you're going to maintain that momentum, you and I, we have to maintain that motion. We got to keep moving forward towards what we need to accomplish. One of the worst things you can do is stop. Hear me. You stop. And then you start saying, I wish I could have and I would have. And you start looking for excuses as to why you didn't. Now, don't let that be your story. Don't let that be your story. It might get difficult sometimes. It might slow you down sometimes. But you got to stay in motion, because I don't want to lose that momentum. I want to continue to go after it on a daily basis. So we're going to continue to make that thing happen. Create momentum. Here's how you create it for your future: by your faithfulness today. Hear me. You're creating momentum for your future by your faithfulness to your idea, to your plan, to your relationship with God today. So what you're doing today is building momentum for your future. How you're operating today is building momentum for your future. And my brothers and sisters, the momentum that you and I can create, we're going to position ourselves to accomplish what we need to accomplish in life. And so we're going to create that momentum. I want to be able to share this from a scriptural standpoint. So today we're going to look at Joshua, right? We're going to look at how Joshua is having this conversation with the Lord. And now the people of Israel have wandered in the wilderness, and as a result of wandering in the wilderness, of being disobedient, didn't believe God. Now the old generation has died off, including Moses, who was the leader that Joshua looked toward. And then this is what it says. This is the moment right here. This is the moment where momentum is necessary. He says, now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, he says, now it came to a point, a moment, when God says, I'm speaking directly to you, Joshua. He says, now that Moses is gone, Joshua has lost something. It's a moment when he could just stop. He's had a significant loss in Moses, who was a great leader that he respected, that he followed, that he served. And in this moment, he could have taken this moment of devastation as a reason to stop. But God says to Joshua, Moses, my servant, is dead. Here's what I want you to know. He's passed away. And then the Lord spoke to Joshua. Hear me. And Joshua, it's not time to stop. It's time for you to hear me, because there's still work to be done. I know it's been a major event in your life. I know it's been difficult. I know it's been hard for you. I know you've suffered a loss, but I'm still speaking. Come on, somebody. Who am I talking to on this morning? You've been dealing with difficulty in life. You've been dealing with some challenges in life. But God sent me to tell you on this morning that he's still speaking. I know it's hard, but he's still speaking. I know it's been difficult, but it's still speaking. I know that perhaps you may have lost an employment, or you may have lost a person significant to you, or you may have experienced some type of trauma that's happened in your life. But God has sent me here to tell you that he is still speaking. Thank you, Lord. He's still speaking, and you and I have to still be listening. Hear me. We got to still be hearing what God is saying in this season, positioning ourselves in a posture of hearing, so that we can continue to be in alignment with what God has called us to do. He is still speaking, despite of the challenges, despite of what we go through, despite of where we find ourselves. I want you to know that the Lord, he is still speaking in this season. The question is, are you still listening? Can you still hear God in this season? Are you still listening to what the Lord is saying? And if you're still listening, he wants you to know he's still speaking. So in this season of difficulty, he's still speaking. In this season of shutdown, God has not shut up. Hear me when I say this. In this season of shutdown, God has not shut up. He is still speaking. And because the Lord is speaking, he's not just speaking for speaking's sake. He's saying something to Joshua in this season of difficulty, and we're going to hear it in a moment. But he's saying something to him, and he's letting him know that even though the servant has died, he is still alive. God is still operating, and he's built some momentum that he wants to continue to move through Joshua. And so here's what he says right here. He says, Moses, my servant, is dead. God speaking to Joshua. Now, therefore, he says, arise. He didn't say, therefore, stop. He didn't say, therefore, throw in the towel. He said, I know it's difficult. I'm acknowledging the fact that it's a hard moment for you and that Moses has passed away. But I want you to know, even in this season, arise. Even in this moment, arise. Even in this time, arise, God says. Arise, arise, arise. Our Thrive Tribe this morning, God is calling us to arise even in the midst of our challenges and significant loss, arise. It's time for us to arise and go after what God has called us to go after. Go arise in it. You have to arise. Oh my God. He says, arise, and he says, go. He says, not only to get up, but go. The go is to begin the momentum to move towards the reality that God has called him to move towards, right? He says, arise and go. He says, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them. He says, listen, I need for you to begin moving towards land that I have given to you. And in order for you to get to the land, you got to have some momentum. You got to start moving. He says it's not only for you, but even the children of Israel. He says, listen now, I want you to start moving, my children, towards the land that I have for you. You've got to start moving that momentum. You got to put those things into motion so that you can accomplish what you need to accomplish. Here is why the enemy wants you to stay stagnant. Here is why the enemy wants you to stay still. Here is why the enemy wants you to get to a place where you're not moving, you're not in motion, you're not putting that momentum into practice on a daily basis, because he knows on the other end of your movement is what God desires for you. When you're moving on what God says, when you're doing what God says, the enemy knows that on the other end of that is what God has for you. So he's going to try to frustrate it. The enemy's going to try to stop it. But you and I have to be willing to go, to arise, to go, to arise, to go, to arise, to go, to arise. Why? Because I'm moving towards what God has for me. My going is not a haphazard going. It is directed and focused going. It is a going that is leading to a destination. It's leading to a reality that God has for you and for me. It's time to get moving. It's time to arise and go. And here's what God says. Here's the promise that he gives to Joshua. He says, in this season of arising and going, I got to give you a promise. Here's the promise I'm going to give you. He says, I need you to arise and go, because every place that the sole of your feet shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said to Moses. He says, every place that your foot treads, not that your feet stand on, but that your feet tread on. In other words, you're walking, you're in motion, you're putting in the work. Every place you are putting in the work, I am giving to you that particular land. My brothers and sisters, God honors that momentum that we've created by moving in the direction that he's called us to move in. And I want us today to begin to put ourselves in motion, going after what the Lord tells us to go after, positioning ourselves to get into the promise that God has given us. And we get to that promise by building momentum, by going into motion. And when we do so, when we get moving, you and I on the other end of that movement is accomplishing everything God has called us to accomplish. So on this morning, I just want to encourage you, get started, get moving, get going, because in your going and in your arising is the power of God to get you where you need to go and to give you everything he needs to give you so that you can accomplish everything he's placed upon you. He will give you everything he needs to give you so that you can accomplish everything that he's placed upon you. Well, my brothers and sisters, it's that time for us to get going on this morning. And I pray that you're able to build momentum this week, where you're able to put those things in motion, that you arise and go so that you can be everything God has called you to be. And my brothers and sisters, that's ultimately what the Thrive Tribe is all about. We about that life. We about momentum. We about movement. We about being able to accomplish everything God has called called us to accomplish, but we recognize it's our responsibility to get moving and to put it in motion. That faith without work is dead. And so, my brothers and sisters, let's put in that work so that we can accomplish everything that we need to accomplish. I hope that you have enjoyed our time of discussion on this morning. I praise God for you being a part of our time where we've come together and just literally just got ourselves together and said, you know what? I'm not stopping now. You know, that song says, I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. Is that you this morning? I don't feel no waste time. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. Hey, don't be no ways tired. Let's continue to move far, because I don't believe he brought us this far to leave us. Nah, he didn't bring us this far to leave us. It's time for us to go into the promised land that God has given us so that you and I can accomplish everything the Lord has called us to accomplish. Well, my brothers and sisters, it's that time for us to get moving. Let's get going. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Let's go. Momentum, 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 momentum. Let's go after it. Let's accomplish it. Don't let life's problems and issues stop you. Arise and go. As the Lord was with Moses, so shall he be with you. My brothers and sisters, this is Jacotron Potts, man. I pray you have a great week. God bless you. Peace and blessings. Yeah. Let's go, Thrive Tribe. Let's make it happen. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, look, if you don't mind, I would ask if you could share this morning. Step by step. You can make it with God's help. I like that. Yeah. Let's go, Thrive Tribe. Hey, you're welcome. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, bless you too. Bless you too. Let's go, Thrive Tribe. Let's make it happen. Let's go. It's time for us to get moving and go after it. Hey, sending you love your way. God bless you. I'll see you next Monday, 7:30 p.m. I said 7:30 p.m. 7:30 a.m. on next Monday. God bless you. Love you much. Peace and blessings. Yeah.